I may just be a southern country girl, but I know good food when I taste it. Today we're going to make a nourishing, totally flavorful, wonderful KHAO soy noodle soup that comes from Thailand. You're going to love it. Let's get started. Now into my big Dutch oven I have heating over here, we're going to put a couple of tablespoons of avocado oil. This recipe is wonderful for as long as your ingredients are pretty much cooked. This is just a symbol in heat and it's ready to go. Now into that I'm going to put a clove of garlic. We're going to build some flavor right off the block here. I'm going to try to make sure this thing doesn't get too hot. This is my Smithy cast iron and it conducts heat so well that it can get away from you. Now I also have here about 2 teaspoons or so of fresh ginger. The recipe calls for 1 inch of ginger. So if you don't know what that means, that's just like 1 inch worth of the root that you grate up. Before it pops too much, we're gonna throw our green onions in there and 1/4 cup of Thai red curry paste. So this stuff comes in a little jar like this, and it's not spicy to me. It's not hot, like heat-wise, but it's just the flavor. Oh. So we want the spices to kind of bloom and hit that heat and let their smell out. So let's get that in. That's about half of this jar. I have been known to put a little extra sometimes. Before this burns, we're going to put in some carrots, about 1/2 cup of those, and 3 cups of homemade chicken broth. Now let me get this in here, temper that heat just a little bit, and we'll talk. I always make my own homemade broth. I am going to leave you a recipe for this. We're going to get it up on the site before long, and it's the one that I use to help treat my autoimmune disease. Soups like this are a great way to kind of change up your diet, and it really, really helps me, you know, have some variety in my life, but still get that meat stock in every day. So I'm gonna let that start to just kind of simmer while we get the rest of our ingredients in. We're gonna do 2 whole cans of coconut milk. Now you can do coconut cream. When I first made this, I didn't have any coconut milk, but I had cream. So I used that and then kind of diluted it down a little bit. But either one will really work. So it's always gonna have a little bit of cream on top of it. So just break that and your milk will be underneath and just put it all in there. So 2 full cans of that. I buy mine on Thrive Market. It's just convenient to have it delivered here to the house, and sometimes my grocery stores just, I live in the middle of rural Kentucky. They just don't specialize in international food here. And I do want to say, I have no idea if this is an authentic version of this recipe. So my sincere apologies if you're out there watching me just butcher something that I should be doing differently. This is just how it was taught to me. All right, so we're gonna put into this some extra flavors. 3 tablespoons of red boat fish sauce. Now, this is going to add a significantly kind of fishy flavor to your soup. If you don't like it, you can leave it out or just kind of reduce the amount. I am not going to measure this because I really don't have to. I'm just going to put about that much in. Then we're going to go in with a tablespoon of honey. This is my parents' honey from their farm. It doesn't make it sweet, it just kind of balances the flavors. So we're going to get that in. And then we're gonna add a little bit of some green. I'm throwing soup everywhere. Okay, so we'll turn this back up now that we've got everything under control here. These small burners can be so unpredictable. Now, I have 1 little baby bok choy here. He's the cutest little fella, but you can put up to 4 of these in this recipe, or you can just use some kale. If you're not, really kind of into all that stuff, you can just, it's a great way to sneak it in, if you're not used to eating a lot of greens. And on bok choy, this was something I had to kind of learn about. Both the stem ends and the leaf ends are edible. So you can just take a whole stack of these and kind of run your knife down the center and then just give it a chop. Good enough for me. Now, all of this goes into the soup, just like this. And then, let's see, what else do we need? We need to put our chicken in. So about 1 pound of any kind of pre-cooked chicken. If you want to simmer like a whole chicken breast or a couple of chicken breasts in the soup while it's cooking, you can absolutely do that. And then take it out and shred it and put it back in if you want to. But I had this already cooked, so we're going to put all of this chicken in. Extra nourishment, extra power for your body in that, so that's perfectly fine. I'm going to give this a little stir. It's so colorful and smells the ginger and the garlic, and it's just beautiful. Okay. And then besides that, a little bit of cilantro. I'm going to save some for the end because your fresh herbs can get a little bit lost inside something after it simmers a little bit. So just a little bit, I don't know, maybe 3 tablespoons here, and then we'll put some on as a garnish at the end. So a little of that, and then I have some Thai basil back here. So this little guy, he's not too pretty, but that's just what happens when you get it at the grocery store. You can take just the leaves off of this. If the stems are very woody or stiff, you would want to leave those, but you could just pluck the leaves off. And we'll go with, I don't know, a couple tablespoons of this as well. Oh, it has a very licoricey kind of smell to it. Oh, love it. It reminds me of a restaurant a couple of towns away where my husband and I go to get sometimes a little bit of ramen, that sort of thing, and it's just a beautiful smell. Love it. I love being able to experiment with things that are not traditional to my culture. You know, that's always really nice. Okay. So regular basil would work here as well if you can't get your hands on Thai. I just happen to find some. All right, we're gonna bring this to a simmer, and no basil left behind. There we go. Bring this to a simmer, and I'll be back with you in about 15 minutes or so once everything's hot and the vegetables are tender, and I will show you how to finish it off. This has been simmering, you know, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 minutes, and just enough time for the vegetables to get soft, and they are there. So we're gonna go ahead and add our noodles, and these are optional, but what we're actually using here are thin rice noodles, which you can pick these up in the Asian aisle at your grocery store, the international aisle, and they cook really, really fast. Traditional recipes will often cook these in water first and then put them into the soup, but then you lose a little bit of flavor. So I'm just gonna drop this whole thing in. I'm actually gonna break it in half. Just let a few fly while you're doing that. We'll clean it up, we got a broom, and we'll just put them down in there, and they are going to, they'll be soft and ready to go in, you know, 4 minutes or so, and we'll be ready to eat. So I'll show you what it looks like when we plate it up. I'll be back in just a second. It's a good soup. All right, so another 5 or so minutes have passed, and our noodles are nice and soft, so we're gonna ladle this up. You can easily make this in advance and put a big batch in the refrigerator and just warm it up as you need it. I make it so that I get plenty of extra broth in mine, but you can have it with extra noodles, you can have it with extra vegetables if you'd like to, extra chicken, whatever suits you. It's absolutely delicious. I hope you'll give it a try and just prove to your body how delicious and truly wonderful nourishing food can be. I'll see you in the next video and hope you have a great day. Bye.